Hello, thank you very much for watching our final episode of the year.
Wow. 2020 is over.
It was
Almost.
Short, wasn't it?
Short but long,
but
a weird year.
Yeah, we stayed at home for maybe like 3 months during this year, right? So in that term, things that we did, like places visited, are a lot fewer than normal years.
Yeah, but those days that we were at home felt really, really long.
True.
Yeah, for a lot of people, I think.
But you were able to hone your skills of baking, right?
Baking, yes, and I had a lot of quality time with my kids. It was a really good time for us.
That's good. Yeah. I had a lot of time reading books. I enjoyed, refound the joy of reading books. So that was good for me as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the final story of the year is Shibahama.
Shibahama.
I'm not sure if you remember.
I do. You showed it. You introduced it in the podcast.
Yes. It's a story that we usually perform during around this time. Maybe November, December, maybe sometimes January. Winter story, end of the year story.
Yeah, you were saying. I think I remember you saying.
Yeah. So you can't really. It's a nice story, and I would love to perform it all through the year. But it feels a little bit awkward to do it in the summer or in the winter. I mean, or in the spring. But
you're not allowed to. I mean, you can, but it's not appropriate.
But people would be criticizing you for being out of season.
Okay. So it's kind of like singing a Christmas song in June or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you are allowed to, but it's kind of weird.
Something like that, right?
Okay, so this is a typical
winter story, right? End of the year story. And the story goes like this. Okay, there's a husband. Now the husband is a fish seller. So he goes to the market, purchases fish, and then goes around the neighborhood selling fish. And he's a lazy guy, and he's a drunken guy, and he's been out of his work. I mean, he hasn't been going to work for 20 days, and he's just drinking and sleeping, drinking and sleeping. And on the 20th day, his wife wakes him up saying, "You have to go to the market, or we're going broke. Now you have to go." And he's saying, one more week. No, we can't wait. So he goes to the market. And when he goes to the market, he arrives there a bit early, so he has to wait until the market opens. So he goes to the beach nearby, and the beach, the name of the beach is Shibahama. Hama is beach, and Shiba, so Shibahama. And he's waiting for the sun to rise and the market to open. And he's standing by the water, smoking, and he sees something in the water. He picks it up, and it's a leather wallet. And there's a lot of money inside. So he picks it up, puts it in his pocket, and goes back home. And at home, he shows his wife, "Look at what I picked up." So he didn't go to the market. He just came back, right? And he showed the wallet, and from inside, he shows the money, and there's a lot of money. 42 ryo of money. Now, 42 ryo is an equivalent of something like 4,200,000.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yen,
that's a lot.
yen.
Okay.
So
I was like, 42.
One ryo is like 100,000 yen.
Okay.
So that's a lot of money. And he's excited. It's like winning the lottery, right? So he's going, okay, I don't have to worry about working anymore. I can buy sake, food, kimono, whatever, and we'll be fine for our life. And that's not true, because even if you have 4 million yen, that's not enough to last a lifetime, right? Even back then. But he's just going so wild with that thought, and so he invites his friends, has a party, drinks, gets wasted, falls asleep, friend goes back home. And then while he's sleeping, his wife gets a little worried, because that's a lot of money. And she brings the money to the landlord's place and asks him what she should do about it. And the landlord tells her, okay, if your husband uses even a bit of that money, he's going to be caught, and he's going to be sent somewhere, maybe killed. So you have to stop him from using the money. So the wife says, okay, I'll leave this money to you, and please deliver it to the officials. Okay. And we have not touched the money inside. And so she goes back home and thinks about what to tell her husband. And she thinks and thinks and thinks and decides to make it a dream. So when he wakes up, he asks about the wallet and about the money. And when he asks about the money, she says, what are you talking about? You didn't pick up a wallet. Which money are you talking about? And he explains, I went to the Shibahama and I picked it up. I showed it to you, 42 ryo. What are you talking about? And she goes, oh, you were dreaming. It was a dream. You did not pick it up. It was a dream, and you thought you picked up the money, and you're thinking you're good for life. What a pity. I'm sad to know that you're dreaming about that kind of thing. And then he regrets his drunken self. And he's convinced that it was a dream. So yeah, he regrets himself. And from then on, he starts working. And after 3 years, they have a successful shop, a bigger shop than before. I mean, he didn't really have a shop. He was just a seller. But now they have a shop. And on the New Year Eve of that year, so 3 years later, the wife decides to tell him the truth. And she tells her husband that she lied, that it was a dream. And in fact, he had picked up the money for real, and that she had left it with the landowner and sent it to the officials. And it came back from the officials because no one showed up that they lost that money. So it returned to them, and they have the 42 ryo now, and she showed him the money. And the story goes to the ending. And I'll maybe put up a video of the performance.
You're not going to tell us.
yeah, to lead you into the story. But
I remember
so the
it, though.
theme of the story is a good lie.
Okay.
And basically to save her husband from committing a crime, because there was no way that she could stop him from using all the money. Now, so a good lie between a husband and wife.
I mean, so a good lie, yeah. I mean, so I would have done something different.
Yeah,
probably.
well, so yeah, my question is, what would you have done if you were in her place?
Because so maybe basically like these Rakugo stories are based back in the days.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a different situation. But if I was in the situation now, I would probably discuss it with my husband, or like, what should we do?
Yes.
Because that's a lot of money, and it's not something, because those 3 years for her must have been a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah, because
lying
with
to
the
someone,
guilt
exactly.
of lying, and with the guilt of not trusting the husband, right?
But of course, it was for the better, and he became a successful.
Right.
They have a successful shop because he wasn't lazy, and he probably worked really hard. So I mean, story-wise, it's great, and I actually really love this story. Shibahama was probably one of the ones that you introduced, and it had a moral. Yeah. But yeah,
so
I would
feel
I don't
more relieved if you can discuss it, right?
Yeah.
And reach an agreement.
Yeah. But I guess, she was in a relationship where he was always drunk, and maybe she wasn't able to.
And she would be afraid of getting beaten by him if she had discussed about that.
Yeah, he would be like, no way, and then he'd probably just use it. So it was probably for her situation, maybe that was the best situation. But
or maybe in those days, he may have told her to leave What are you talking about? This is my money. I picked it up. What are you telling me to do? I'll leave. And then, of course, he would regret it and he would go downhill from there. And the story would be a very different story.
And then it would be a disaster.
Yeah,
she might be remarried to someone else.
Maybe I should make that version of the story.
And he would just go downhill and stay drunk and whatever, What would you change it? I mean, okay, so would you change it if you were the wife?
if I were the wife, would I tell him?
What would you have done?
Yeah, well, I think there was very few options. Thinking about those days, maybe I'd go back to the beach, and return the money. But then that's the same thing, right? Oh, so it's the same thing as giving it to the landlord. So what to tell him was the point.
That wouldn't be an option for me, though, putting it back into the beach.
Yeah.
Because someone else would get it.
So
I would
you would be envious of that person.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to know, like, what if, Sorry, so go ahead.
So whether I would tell him, wow, that must be scary. That must be very scary for people those days. But I would weigh the guilt of not telling him and or lying to him, and also the risk of him finding that out. There was a possibility that he would find out that she lied to him, and when he found it out before she told him the truth, then it may have been a very violent disaster, and so I would have to weigh the risk of discussing or just pleading him to deliver the money to the officials at that point. But I would probably lie.
You would lie.
I mean, the social pressure for wives during that time.
Yeah. So, the days are different situations, but I wouldn't be able to live with it, even if it was those days. Well, I can't really say because I've never experienced it.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Or just maybe leave him, or dump him and leave.
No, but then I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah.
I would want to know what happened to the money.
The money.
At the end of the day, it's like I kind of want to be in control of it, but
yeah. I mean, if the wife left, that 42 ryo would be gone.
Yeah,
in
in
maybe
like a week.
A
or
night.
something.
A week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drinking and just such a waste. It would be wasted. So it would be gone.
Yes.
So she probably kind of also scripted her future in a way by doing that lie. So she probably kind of saw what was going to happen.
Yes.
So she was able to, the 3 years she was able to hold in
Yeah. So she won.
She won.
Yeah, because they now he's a successful person to begin with.
Yeah.
Plus the 42 yo, right?
So it was a good choice. Oh, okay. Oh, now that we discuss it,
Yeah.
I will probably do the same thing.
You will probably
do the same thing as her. Yeah.
It's just holding that for 3 years,
Exactly.
right?
So
having that feeling for 3 years.
And I'm like not good at lying or trying to hold things in. Knowing my personality, I would probably just be really stressed out for those 3 years.
Knowing your personality, you would be like a week later, you would be talking about, hey, and that what?
I know, right?
That 40.
It would have lasted 3 years. So she was a really patient wife.
Yeah.
I mean, she was probably the perfect wife for him. Did they have names?
Katsugoro was the husband's name.
The husband, okay.
The wife's name does not appear in the story.
No name? You need to name her. She's a
true.
big role.
That's true. Okay.
She's
her a
an
name.
Important, yes.
Yeah. Something suitable for that.
What kind of name? Because the names in Rakugo stories kind of have a meaning in the
Usually,
personality.
Like, typical name would be like Ohana or Osaki. So O is like a thing you put in front of a girl's name.
Okane.
Okane.
Which is
Okane. Okay, that would have a big weight on money. Too much weight.
No.
Yeah.
But I can't believe she doesn't have a name. That's
That
kind of
happens. So the way she would the husband would address her would be
Oi.
oka.
Oh, okay, mother, kind of like mom,
yeah.
or no,
Mom, wife.
wife.
Yeah. Oka.
Wow. Okay, this is like a totally different topic, but that's something that needs to change.
That's true.
Well, you need to name the people, the women in the Rakugo stories.
Yeah.
And you need to put spotlight on them because they're a big role.
Okay, I'll think about a good name. Yeah, something other than okane.
Yeah, but I guess it kind of takes. So if you were to use her name in the story, it would kind of change the relationship.
Oh, she would be a little bit stronger than right now?
Yeah, because you know, by having the husband be like Oka, or like just kind of calling her like, hey,
Yes.
you know, it kind of shows that he's higher.
But at the end, it shows that she was a strong woman, right? I mean, she led her husband to success, and she was able to hold still for 3 years. Right, so...
She was actually controlling him.
Right, and she was waiting until, to tell the truth, she waited until she was sure that he was a different man, changed man. And she didn't tell him because they had received the money beforehand, and she hid that money in the closet for a long time. So she was a strong man. She was a strong lady, and she should have a name.
She should have a name.
Okay.
And I want to know their past.
Ofumi.
Yes. For me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, do they have a past? I want to know their past too. Like what kind of relationship they had, like how it all started. That's like a whole.
That's true. Yes.
Because it paints the bigger picture. Yeah. There's
true.
so many. Like, it's interesting. I like how we were able to discuss a story because it kind of brings us in different directions. And it makes you want to know more about each character and how they lived. And
That's
stuff.
true.
Yeah.
So the historical, background is a little bit different. The relationship between husband and wife, or son and father, daughter and mother, it's a little bit different. But then, yes, there's something that we can think about from the view of the present of what could have been done at those times. And but the conclusion we've reached is there was nothing that could have been done better.
Yes.
Nothing better.
They were a perfect couple, and it was the best choice.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds
so
good.
we'll do that for other stories as well. Yeah. So I won't give out all the details of the summary, the story. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. People, if you're interested, they can go watch on
Yes,
your
yes,
YouTube
yes.
or actual live performances. Yeah.
That's true. All right. So this was the final episode of the year, and I mean we're entering from next episode the year 2021.
2021. Wow.
Yeah. Are we going to have the Olympics?
Good question.
And our next episode will be uploaded on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day? Okay.
Yes.
Wow. So the very first day of 2021.
Yes. So next time we meet, it will be 2021. January 1st.
Sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So have a nice New Year.
Yes.
Yo-yo toshio.
Yo-yo toshio.
Yeah.
Oh no. Wow. It's so sad. Wow.
It's so sad.
Yeah. I mean,
to say goodbye to 2020.
No, 2020. I'm glad to be saying goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the new year. But wow, it just hit me. Yeah.
First time to say that this year, maybe. Yeah.
Yo-yo toshio.
Yo-yo toshio. Thank you very much for watching. See you next year.